Good morning, sir. Good evening, sir. Happy New
Okay.
Year.
Same to you, dear. Same to you.
Thank you.
Okay, let me put my screen on sharing mode. One second.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, beta. Good evening. Is there anyone
Sir,
on the?
Yes, sir.
it's
Yes,
visible to me.
it's visible to you. Okay.
Sir,
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sign in into my code.org G's dashboard using my login credentials. Accessing the Applab, what you have to do, you have to come on this create option and then you need to hit this Applab. And I would like all of you to put yourself on mute. Once I'm done with explaining my part, I will give you guys a chance to speak. Okay, in case you come across any issue while I am explaining my part, so what you can do, you guys can just jot down the issue on your on any notebook if you have got with you anything right now. So you guys just jot down that issue on a notebook or just keep it in your mind. Fine, I'm going to take all your issues once I'm done with explaining my part. So this is the Applab environment where today we will be learning how to design a simple login system. See, one thing that we need to keep in mind when we are making any app, it should be very attractive. It should be user friendly and it should be attractive. So in order to make it attractive, the screen view should be great. Okay, it should be very clear, and it should look good. So if suppose you are designing a login system, how can you find suitable screens on this Google images for that login system? You just have to type this thing: mobile sign up sign in screen. Okay, just keep a note of it. Whatever I'm teaching you, just make a note of it somewhere so that you guys can also do it on your devices. So we are going to make use of this screen. We are going to make use of this screen today for designing that login system. So what you have to do, you just have to click on that image and then you need to right click on this image, and this is a cascading menu which you're going to see, which you're going to come across. Now you have to come on this copy image thing, just tap on this copy image option. Once you're done with copying this image from this Google Images, what you have to do, you have to come on this start option and then you need to open this paint software. So this is a very good software with which you can edit the images the way you want. You can make the changes in the images. So in order to paste that image which you have copied from that Google Images thing, what you have to do, you have to press Ctrl and V together. Just hold on for a moment. You need to put yourself on mute here. Just put yourself on mute first. You'll be able to hear me more clearly then. All of you, please put yourself on mute. Okay. So now you need to hit this upload file option, and then you need to select that image which you have created and saved on the desktop with name sign in. Okay. Let's open this. Let's hit this open button. Okay, and after that we can hit this choose button and see the image is now getting reflected on this mobile simulator. Okay, right now there is some white space. Still my voice is echoing. Is it still
Yes,
echoing?
sir.
Just a
Yes,
second,
sir.
let me just stop sharing this. Okay, and I'm going to enlarge it like this. Yeah, fine. And see what in order to make use of these two components in the coding part, what is the thing that we need to keep in mind? What is the thing we require? We require the IDs. Okay, so I am renaming the ID of this component. At present it is text underscore input one. I am renaming it to email. Similarly, I am renaming the ID of this component also to password. Fine. Now, as you can see, they are not looking so good. I would like to see the background color of this component, similar to the background color, which is there getting reflected on this screen. So how can I get the code of this background color of this screen? So for doing that, the best option that you can use is you can open Game Lab. How can you access Game Lab? Again, you need to hit this create option button, and here you will be able to see this Game Lab option. Just come on this Game Lab, and there is a tool in Game Lab with name Color Picker, with which you can find out the code of any color you want. So what you have to do, once you're done with accessing this Game Labs animation workspace, you need to hit this plus option, and then you need to come on this draw your own option. Just click on this option and you'll get to see this kind of a screen on your device. Now the screen which we are using for that sign in part, it is this, right? What you have to do now, you have to copy this screen and paste it on the animation workspace of Game Lab. How we can do that? By pressing Ctrl and A together, we can select the whole thing, whole screen, and then by pressing Ctrl and C together, we can copy the screen. Now we need to come on this animation workspace, and here we need to paste it. How can we paste anything in animation workspace? By pressing Ctrl and V together, we can do that. So this is a kind of thing, this is a kind of dialog box you are going to come across. Now you need to hit this next button and you will see this screen getting reflected like this on this animation workspace of Game Lab. Now how can we find out the code of this blue color part of this image? So for doing that, what you can do, there is a color picker option which you'll be able to see right in the bottom here. Okay, this is a tools part of this animation workspace. Just click on this color picker option, and then you need to click on this part of the image in order to get the code of the image. When we'll click on this part, automatically the color here will change, and when you will click on this color, you will get to see its code reflecting over here. Okay, so this is the code which you have to copy. After copying this code, you need to come back on this Applab, okay, and just select this text input box which you have placed over here on the sign in screen. Come down in the properties section, and here you'll get to see an option called background color. Where is that background color? Yeah, this is the one. Now what you have to do, you need to eliminate this whole code and paste the one which you have copied from the Game Lab. By pressing Ctrl and V together, you can do it easily. And see, the color has got changed from white to blue. Now this color which is getting reflected on this text input component, it is same as that of the background screen. Just a second, I think the code has got refreshed, maybe because of that. Yeah, now it is fine. Similarly, I'm going to do the same thing for this text input box also, for the one which I am making use of for the password field. So I'm going to make use of this color picker tool. I'm going to click here, and here I'm going to get the code copied. Let's come back on this Game Lab App Lab. Is there anyone waiting in the waiting room? Let me just check it out. Yeah. So we need to now paste this code over here in this background color option of this text input box. Now one thing which is still looking odd is this border which is getting reflected over here. How can we get rid of this border? So we need to select this component first. We need to come down. Here you can see that the border width
Hi,
at
sir.
present is equal to 1. Namaste, Vita. Here, if
Gaurav,
the,
sir.
yes,
Banu
yes,
Prakash, sir.
yes, Banu Prakash.
Sir, just now only I came, sir.
Okay. So what
Yes,
you
sir.
we are dear, we are designing this sign-in screen right now. Okay,
Oh,
and
you didn't code us, sir, now?
we started 19 minutes back. So you are very late here. Just
Oh, okay, sir.
put yourself on mute and pay attention on what I am explaining you right now here in this lecture.
Yeah, sir,
So
yeah.
in order to eliminate this border, what you can do, you can make it 0. Border width you can make it 0, and see the border has got disappeared. Same thing you have to do with this password field also. You need to come down and make this border width 0. So automatically you will see that the border will no more be visible to you on this screen of this text component. Besides that, one more thing that you have to do is you need to enlarge the font size of this these two input boxes. So for doing that, you can make use of this font size component. Let's make it 15 for now, and this one also I am making it 15. If you want to change the text color of the things which are going to get, which you are going to type here in these two components, so there is a field called text color which is getting reflected over here. Okay, if you want to change it to white, if you want to change the text color to white, so what is the code for white color? It is hash 6 times f. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Just keep a note of it. Okay, so automatically whatever now you will type here in this text box, it will get reflected in white color. Same thing I'm going to repeat, same thing I'm going to do for this password text box also. 1 2 3 4 5 6, and see, now whatever you will type here in these two components, it is going to get reflected in white color. Okay, now let's come back on this coding part. Okay, one more thing that we need to do here is we need to define a button with which the user can fire an event. Fine. So, there is a thing, there is a login button which is getting reflected over here, but it is a part of the image. How can we make it act like a button? So the trick, the thing which you have to keep in mind, or the trick that you can use for doing the same is, see, one thing is this: you can drag a button from here and put it over this button like this and enlarge the size of this button. But this is not looking cool. It is not looking good. So what you can do, you can make use of this label box. Just drag it and drop it over here and enlarge the size of this label. Now this text which is getting reflected over here, it's because of this text part. Inside this text part, this text is written. If you will eliminate this, automatically that text which was visible to us earlier, it will no more be visible to you now. Fine. And here the ID, let's rename the ID of this component to login. Okay, so now it is going to act for us as a button. So that's how you can make any part of the image that you have defined on a mobile simulator act as a button. This is a trick that you have to keep in mind. Now let's come on this coding section and start coding for this login button. So for that, the first thing that I would like to do is I need to define an on event block. So this is the block which we generally use for coding any button like element which is there on our screen. The ID of this,
So can you
I'm
do
converting
in show box?
I'm converting it into block based only here.
Okay.
The ID of
Thank you,
this
sir.
button is login. Okay, so what you have to do, you need to come here, just hit this drop down. You'll come across a cascading menu. Now here you will be able to see the IDs of all the components that you have defined on this screen. Okay, so there is a email component, there is a password component, there is an image one, there is this login button. Because we are defining a code for this login button, that's the reason we need to select this login from here. Okay, now when the user will hit this login button, what I would like to do, that's what I need to define the code for now in this workspace of this Applab, on this Applab. Now for doing that, before that, I would like to create a new screen where I would like to get the user redirected once he is done with successfully login into my app. So he's going to come across this screen where he'll get to see this thing, welcome user. Let's enlarge the size of this text box, welcome user. And if you want to, this is a label box which I've used over here. If you want to increase its, height and width, so you guys can make use of this thing. That's how you can increase the height of the label box. That's how you can increase the width of the label box. If you want to play with the font size, you can just do it like this. Yeah, now it is looking better. Fine. Besides that, if you want to go for a better designing, if you want to design, if you want to make it look more good, you can make use of this theme button, which is getting reflected right on the top of this design toolbox. Now you can select any theme which you want to apply on this screen. Let's go for this one. So this is how the changes are going to get reflected over here on this screen too. Fine. Now let's come back on this coding part. I'm converting it into text-based coding again. See, what I would like to do, if the email which the user will enter here, if it is equal to, let's say, email@gmail.com, and if the password is equal to password, then I would like the user to get redirected on this screen too. Now there are two conditions which I want to check, and if the input which the user will make in these two components, if those two things will satisfy the required things, then he should get redirected on this screen too. Now whenever you are checking any condition in this Applab, the best way to do that is using this if loop. You can do it. Okay, just drag it and drop it over here. Now I want to check the email and the password. I want to put a check on this email field and the password field. How can I check the email? How can I check the input which the user will make in this email component and this password component? So for that, I need to fetch the text first, which the user is going to mention here in these two components.
Sir, please make a show blocks.
Let's convert it back into block based code. Just a second here. I think. See dear, the thing is, it's better if you will start learning this text based coding. Otherwise it will not be possible for you to understand the Python language or any object oriented programming language, because we don't get to see these blocks in on any object oriented programming language platform or on any other coding platform. Okay, so it's better if you'll start learning coding through this text based coding, instead of learning coding with these blocks. For now I
Yes.
am converting it into block based coding, but going forward, just keep that thing in mind. So we are going to put an if loop inside this on even block. Okay, and now in order to get the text which the user is going to type here in this email component, what we can do, we can make use of this block, the name of which is get text, and we can place it inside this if loop like this. Okay, so if, is there anyone waiting in the waiting room?
Sir, can you make it into text, sir?
So now what is
I
the
can't
idea?
understand.
Hold on for a moment, dear. What
Okay,
is the
sir.
idea of this component? It is email. So when you will hit this drop down, you will be able to see the ID of the component getting reflected over here in this drop down. Okay, just select this email component. Now we need to convert it back into text based coding in order to define the condition. Now if this email which the user will enter here, if it is equal to let's say email at the rate gmail.com, if it is like this, email at the rate gmail.com, and because we guys are want to check two conditions, one is the email part and the second one is the password part. So that is the reason we can do it with the help of this logical operator I have placed over here. Logical operators we generally use inside this if loop when we have got two or more conditions to check. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to copy this whole code and I am going to place it after this AND operator. Okay, like this. Now, the way I have put a check on this email component, in the same way I'm going to put a check on this password component also. How? What is the idea of this component? It is password. So in order to get the text from this component, I need to replace this email with password like this. Okay, and let's say the password should be equal to password p in capital like this. So if the user will enter, just a second, if now the user will enter this email address in this component and this password in this component and he will hit this login button, he should get redirected on screen 2. That's how I would like to define the code for this login system for now. Okay, is there any mistake I'm making? This red color box is getting reflected over here. It means that there is some mistake in this code which I've defined over here. I think I need to eliminate this bracket. Yeah, now it is fine. Okay, so if these two conditions will get satisfied by the input which the user will make here in these two components, he should get redirected on screen 2. How can I get the user redirected on some other screen? Using this set screen option, we can do that. We just have to put it inside this if block like this, and let's change this screen number to screen 2. Okay, so we are done with defining the code now. Now we are going to check whether everything is working fine or not. So for that, I'm going to click on this share option, and this is the link. Let's access this code on a new tab using the link. So here I am going to enter email at the rate gmail.com, and here I'm going to enter email. Let's see whether I'll be able to log in into the system or not. See, I'm not able to log in into the system. Why is it so? It's because the password which I've entered here, it is not satisfying the condition which I have mentioned for the password field in this workspace of this app. This is the condition which I have mentioned over here. So in the password field, what I need to enter? I need to enter this password. Okay, let's come back on this app and enter here password. Now if I will hit this login button, I am able to get redirected on this screen too. Okay, so that's how you can design a simple login system through this code. Now you guys can go ahead and tell me If you have any kind of query, if you have any kind of question in your mind related to the code or the designing part which we have studied today in this lecture.
Sir,
Yes, sir. Sir,
You guys can make use of the
sir,
raise
I
hand
have a
facility.
doubt.
You guys can make use of the raise hand facility which is available on this platform. Okay, I'm going to give you the chance to speak then. Yes, Hiren,
So I want to know, sir, can we also make the use of if and else block?
we can do it like that also, dear. Yes, we can. We are going to do it in the next lecture. Don't worry about that. I'm going to cover everything. But for now, I would like you guys to tell me the issues,
sir, I
if you
have
have
one
any in
doubt.
your mind related to the things we have studied today in this lecture.
Sir, I have
Yes,
one doubt.
sir.
Yes,
Hello?
Shrijita. Yes, Amir.
Sir,
Sir,
I have
can we
doubt.
add music?
You can add music also. Yes, just a second. Let's do that. So for adding the music, what we can do, there is a block with name play sound, which you guys can make use of
Sir?
for music. Let's put it over here and let's select a music, hitting this drop down and making use of this sound library available on this platform. Now, if you will run this app, let's run this app one more time and check whether we'll be able to hear the music which I have added to this app. Here I'm going to write down email @ gmail.com and here password. So we are able to hear the music. Fine. Yes, any other question?
Sir, if we design this app, can we publish in Play Store, sir?
We can do it, definitely we can do it. But for now, you need to focus on the coding part. You know,
Okay, sir.
publishing an app or publishing a website is very simple, but coding that thing is very difficult. So if you want to, if it is better if you can focus on this coding part rather than focusing on those fascinating things like how can we publish these things or how can we make them public. It is very easy, don't worry about that. We are going to learn that
Okay,
thing
sir.
also.
Okay, sir.
Any other question?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, Srijita.
Yeah. Suppose so the user visits many times to this app. So every means like I want a create account feature to be in my
We will do
login
that
system.
also, dear. We will do that also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today we have
So
designed a
the
simple login system. Okay, the topic was
yeah, sir.
simple login system. We are going to make
Sir.
use of the data browser
Yes.
now.
Yes.
In the next lecture, I'm going to tell you how can
Sir.
you create tables on the
Okay.
data browser and connect your
Now
app
the
with those
user.
tables.
Okay. Now the user can't.
Sir,
Sir.
sir, they
Yes, Arohi. One by one, one by one. Yes, Arohi.
yes, sir. This is a login system. So how can they use their own Gmail ID and password to log in that
Beta, for
system?
that, we need to, we need to connect it with a table. Okay, and that portion I'm going to cover it in the next lecture. I'm going to take that topic in the next lecture. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Now in this lecture,
Sir.
I have told you how you guys can make use of the simple if loop in order to check one or more conditions. Okay, that's what.
Sir,
Yes, yes, yes.
sir, can you send its recording, class
I will
recording?
not be able to send you the recording of this lecture, but definitely I'm going to share the link of whatever we have developed today on your respective WhatsApp building.
Sir.
Okay, on your respective number, you will definitely
Sir.
receive the link of this app.
Sir, I am having a big
Okay.
three doubts.
Yes, who's this?
Yes, sir. I am Akshaj Pandey.
Yes, Akshaj.
My doubt is which language we are learning
We
now.
are learning JavaScript right now. Okay,
And
it
the
is
second
Java's.
doubt, and the second doubt is that in the
Amna,
login system we want to save the password. Then how can we do that?
If you want to save the password, then you need to connect this app with a table-like structure or with a database system. That's what we are going to talk about in the next lecture. Okay, this is the
Sir,
thing which we will take on here.
sir, can I leave now?
Yes, Arohi.
Sir, please convert this to show text as I want to take the screenshot of the code.
But I'm going to share the link of this app with you guys. After this class now on your WhatsApp number, you'll get the link.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so don't worry about
Sir,
anything. Whatever we
sir,
have made, I'm going
sir,
to share that thing with you on your respective WhatsApp numbers. Fine, with which you have
yes,
got
sir.
yourself registered for these classes.
Sir, you share the link, then we can see the app you have made today.
You guys can see everything. You just have to place your mobile horizontally in order to check out the code and the screens which I have made use of. Okay?
Yes.
सर
Yes. Who's this?
सर जैसे जैसे आपने पासवर्ड के लिए पासवर्ड लिखा तो हम जैसे कोई भी दूसरी ईमेल डालेंगे
हाँ, you can do
जैसे
that.
किसी को ये
You know, that's what I want you guys to do. You need to experiment on the things which whatever we'll be learning in the online classes, no? In these online coding classes. I want you guys to do experiment on those things. Fine, let me just tell you
Yes,
one
sir.
thing. Let me just do it for
Sir.
you. Yes, who's this?
Yes, I'm Srijita, sir.
Yes, dear.
Yes, suppose the user can do create an account so many times. So, like I want that the password and the username the user gives while creating the account gets saved in the data browser, and later if
Shrijita,
we
hold on,
want and
hold on. Shrijita, that's what I am telling you guys again and again. I'm going to take this question of yours in the next lecture. Okay, where I will be showing you how can you connect your app with the data browser, the data browser facility which is available on this code.org platform.
okay, sir.
Okay, and if you have, and in case I fail to take your doubt, now what you guys can do, you guys can WhatsApp me. See, I have changed the password from password to coding, and now I'm able to log in into this app through the same. So that's how you need to keep on experimenting on the codes which I will be sharing with you. Okay, instead of besides learning these codes, okay, which I am telling you in these online classes, you have to do experiment on these
So
codes also.